Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. After about 2 hours of practicing with the NightStalker, I'm convinced this thing is overwhelming and a must buy. I want to show you battle content to show you the impact and the power and the utility of this amazing new promo card. But I also want to share with you some of the synergies that it's going to open up and how it's going to, I think, really radically change the gaming experience within Splinterlands. This card is a huge deal. This is turning it on its head, the power of the promo sales. I think it's going to radically affect our DAO funding, and there's so much more good news that comes out of an exciting card like this. I hope you'll stick around and stay tuned while we discuss it and review some of the battle footage so you can see for yourself. My name is Dwayne Cunningham and I go by Infidel 1258. You can call me 12. Let's get it. Okay, so I do have 3 battles that I'm going to share with you, and there were so many that I tried to cram in, and I literally went to battle, spent 12 or 15 energy, all that I had, and just tried to squish this square peg into every round hole that I saw, just to see if it would work in every context. So far, the results are positive in every possible context, even when it maybe doesn't make the most sense. But I want to show you 3 specific battles where we really see the utility and some of the partnerships that come from that. Okay, so we'll go there, but before we do, price. You know already what it does. The blast is why it's so crazy powerful, in conjunction with the execute. And yes, if you don't know, the blast damage on the adjacent units can proc the execute. And so the execute is far greater than I would have thought yesterday even. That is a huge piece of news I didn't know yesterday, and now in practice have discovered is one of the reasons why this card's awesome. 4 mana, crazy. 4 damage, nuts. 4 speed, great. 5 hit points, sufficient. And here's the thing I want to show you about price. If you want to buy 115 units, you're looking at 345,000 DEC. 345,000 DEC times 0.00076 approximately for a DEC. Oh, DEC took a little bump there. 812 Splintoshis. Let's call it 812 then. 345,000 times 0.000812. We're talking $280 for a max copy to buy it from Splinterlands. But you might not know, you can come in, you can buy that card from the peer-to-peer marketplace, and you're going to pay a little less. NightStalker, $1.90 per BCX. So you need 115 copies. What are we looking at? $221 right now at time of recording. I'm actually not on the right camera. I know that now. There you go. 200 to buy 115 copies right now of the NightStalker. You're looking at 192 per BCX on average, and you're looking at 221.69 total. Why would I save so much money by buying it peer-to-peer? Well, there's probably a combination of reasons. Maybe some people are chasing after gold foils, and so they're buying from the team in order to have that opportunity to drop the gold foils. Maybe they're hoping to disproportionately break luck and sort of claw back some value, because if you get enough gold foils, it starts to pay for more of your cost. Whatever the case may be, people are selling them for cheaper than you can buy them from Splinterlands for. So that's what I did. I spent $220 this afternoon, and I'm loving this card. It's that good. It's that powerful. And side note, there's some amazing cards you can buy for $200. Scarred Llama, max level summoner from Untamed. You can get that. There's some, you could get probably 2 Dr. Blights, best card in the game. But this card is amazing. NightStalker is so good. It's worth the price of admission. Let's see some of the proof. Let's go to the battle history, and we'll see some of the battles, and I'm going to show you 3 examples of where I've made it fit. In the last 2 hours, I've gone, actually 3 hours, I put in work here. This was my second match. The first 3 matches I was trying to play in every context, but this was archery only. This was no melee. This was, I think, 12 mana or something crazy. So here we have a 22 mana match. So I want to make the point that even at low manas, this can be viable and effective. Mind you, I'm in gold 1, fighting for diamond at this moment. But check it out. My opponent is well leveled. And for 22 mana, you might think it's too much. You know, I don't know, maybe that's not going to work. It's because it's a sneak play, but is it a little niche? Well, you know, look at the way we often play Kalia Frendel. Like a sub 20 mana match, that sneak play with the with the flying sneak and the Uraeus often works. Well, I think the NightStalker is the response, the better response even. So we see that this is going to work, and partly how do I make it work? Well, I recently bought Dolfor I. This summoner at 3 mana cost gives you a little bit of mana play with the team you're building. And we're going to see right now, round 1, right there, execute. And check it out. That was a blast damage execute. The Fiend that was right there in, I think it was the 4th spot, had 2 hit points. And the Fiend went down to 2 from the blast damage, and that procced the execute. That is really important information. It's not just the primary target. I thought as of yesterday it would have just been the primary target. No, it's actually both, and things get crazy. I don't know what would have happened there if Mana Warden, I think if Mana Warden had been brought down to 2, we would have had another execute. I actually don't really know that yet though. And the rest of it's going to play out as you imagine. We're getting a lot of work done with the Possessed Puppet, of course. But yeah, that was clutch. Because on round 1, we're doing 4 damage, 6 damage, and twice. We did 12 damage from the blast from the NightStalker due to that execute proc. So we win this one, obviously. We'll move on. Dolfor Darflak. I'm liking it because it gives up new opportunities for me to explore when and how I can fit NightStalker in, because it's that good. I want to increase my opportunities for how I play it when I play it. Here's a different look with an equally synergistic card that is important to have in your kit if you're planning on having this card and playing it at a high level. The Ravenhood Warden with the Inspire and the Protect. That is so synergistic and appropriate. Why? You get the Protect, which gives you your 5 hit point monster, NightStalker, making it a bit more resilient. One of the ways this thing could be sort of vulnerable is its hit points. 2 more armor is going to help you out there. The Inspire also obviously fits right in doing crazy more damage, more execute, more blast, etc. Let's watch this one. We get an Inspire up here too, by the way. Gives me new hope for Tusk the Wide. Tusk the Wide is like a decent meat shield, but I just liked it in this context to simply give NightStalker that much more oomph. And we're going to win this one if you can't already tell. But Lux is powerful, man. Lux is a card that, mind you, is a slow wins first. But again, 20 mana. I'm up against good cards, and we're going to pull it out because Blast puts in work. Blast with a sneak where you're most vulnerable puts in work. And so we're going to win again. So Ravenhood Warden, another interesting pairing that I'm really grateful I've got and glad to see and put to work. Finally, and this might be the most... No, there's two more matches. I played it with Squirrel, and this is interesting to me because I'm putting to work the True Strike, because it isn't the fastest monster on the team, and with Enrage, and specifically with the Kelia and Ashanis, he could get dodging. This thing's going to go to 8 speed by the, after it takes some damage. No, it's going to go to 9 speed, and he's going to definitely dodge my Soriel Bale. Squirrel says no. And so we get tons of work done. Watch, we do the blast, and we're trickling damage onto the Oceanus. We get to execute. We do 2 more. We just did 10 damage in round 1 from this one monster. It's crazy. And of course we're going to win. Of course we've got this one in the bag now. It's just too much work in the round 1. The thing drops nuclear bombs. So yes, we win. So a different look. It's really the fact that NightStalker is both death and fire. It's like the icing on the amazing, powerful cake. One last match I want to feature with you, and I want to really show where I think this might literally change the game. We've seen, look at this matchup. Me on the bottom with Lorkus. By the way, I got a brand new Lorkus, max level today. And everyone is stepping over one another to get their very own Tofu. So Tofu is like everyone's darling. The price point on Tofu, $46 per BCX. There's only 14 copies on the marketplace. It escalates rapidly from there. Like if you want to get a max copy, you're spending $55 per unit. $600 for the summoner. Wow. Well, it's powerful, and it's the price point is rising rapidly because it's the perseverance it offers. But with Lorkus, you well know already, you've got power versus perseverance. Here's the problem. cards like NightStalker, which I mean to feature in this video, are going to run into a brick wall. Or are they? Watch this. Life Leech. Affliction. Watch what happens. I did 5 damage to my main target. The acid shooter had 7 hit points at the time. I stole 3 hit points. He has an amp over here, and the amp is proccing on the thorns. He's going to do 3 thorn damage. We're even Steven. I steal 3, I lose 3. Now, in my second execute blast damage, we lost 2 because my target only had 2 hit points. I therefore couldn't steal 3. Opponent you're striking needs to have at least 5 hit points in order to steal 3. It didn't, and so I only got 1 hit point, I think, out of the deal. But watch what happens. We live on the edge of a knife this whole match, but we keep stealing because we're slapping into what? And this is very common. The Zenith Monk plays in the rear because it's a perseverance play. You're trying to out-survive. You're trying to scavenge with the scavenge function. You're trying to self-heal to stay alive. You're using the thorns built in from the tofu. But between Lorkus with the increased damage output on the NightStalker and with the Life Leech from Lorkus, it's too much. We just keep persisting, and it's so interesting that my opponent's avenue of excellence is the thing that I make vulnerable. I turn it into a vulnerability. What do I mean? Zenith Monk has 1,000,000 hit points. I'm stealing those hit points. Zenith Monk is a 5th spot target. 5th spot because remember, Kinjo in the 6th spot with the camo is not visible. That's actually terrible for my opponent because with Sneak Attack Blast, I'm now striking the 5th spot because I'm circumventing, I don't see the camo, and I'm now striking 4th, 5th, and 6th. Mind you, the Kinjo has a reflection shield, so those blast damage didn't do anything to him, but it did things to the rest of the team, which is how NightStalker is almost a direct counter in conjunction with Lorkus. So, this card's awesome. It works in amazing context from low mana to the highest mana. It's that good, and it is worth the value, in my opinion. Everyone has to make that choice for themselves, but I love the game. I believe in the future, and I love this card. It's so much fun, and it's so powerful. But before we conclude, I just want to point back to the synergies I pointed to. We talked about the Ravenhood Warden, which is a soulbound reward from Chaos. Like relatively cheap card for what it offers, and so very powerful card. If you don't already have it, you should seek it out. It works really well with the new NightStalker. We also talked about the summoners, and there was 3 summoners I specifically looked at, but 2 that I'm really powerful and considering very synergistic. The first was Dolfor I, and that's just interesting because it opens up the lower mana options. You get to play in games that you might not have otherwise been able to enter into, with the 3 mana opening up more mana cost. Plus, if you want to play in Modern moving forward, as we know Chaos Legion is going to roll out, you want budget-friendly options. This card is actually that, right? $80 probably, roughly, to get you 400 copies. If we go 400, we're talking $52 to get a max copy of this card. Amazing. It's a very there's only 161 BCX because I bought 400 of them earlier today. It's that good because of what it opens and how it creates space for amazing cards like NightStalker. And most importantly, we also talked about Squirrel, but most importantly, Lorkus. Lorkus and what it does with the NightStalker is again amazing. The partnership and opening to be able to play with death or with fire and still that melee damage buff, as well as the life leech or potentially the trample. The trample would be really interesting if you had a camo monster in the 6th that was big, and you had a 5th monster that was vulnerable. I'd have to show them an example. I can't just describe it, but there would be scenarios where the trample would work. Not usually though. The life leech is going to be the play in the video I'm describing, or the battle I'm describing. Regardless, this thing's amazing. This game is so much fun with this new ability, and I'm loving it. Are you playing it? Are you seeking after it? Let me know in the comments below. Have an amazing day. God bless.